Power Talk.
Good afternoon, good evening. This is Adrienne, and welcome to Power Talk. Sorry, we're a little bit late. Just had a couple little technical difficulties going on today, but we've got it all handled, and God bless Mercury retrograde. So we've got a great show I'm so excited about tonight because my guest tonight is Dr. Kathy Forti. And those of you who've been following me for at least the last 10 years know that I've had this device called Trinfinity 8 that has been just an amazing support system for me and for a lot of my clients. And Dr. Forti is the creator of Trinfinity 8. She's been on the show with us before and talked about the Trinfinity. And now she has a new tool that she has added. It's called Ascension11. And I got my Ascension11 about a month ago, and I've been using it somewhat regularly. I don't use it every day because it's a really powerful tool. And so I wanted Kathy to come back and share with all of you about Ascension11, what it is, what it does, how it came about. So welcome, Kathy.
Hello. Hi. I'm glad to be back. You know, the last time I was on, I let it slip that there was something new on the horizon. Of course, I didn't know how long it was going to take before it would be birthed.
Right.
One never does. But,
Exactly.
Finally Ascension 11 is out. And, you know, I've been waiting a long time. This was always kind of in the making, but as I've said to people, I didn't really know if it was going to really come into manifestation and fruition because there was a lot of obstacles along the journey, you know. So, I'm glad it's out there and I'm getting some marvelous feedback. You know, as with the Trinfinity, I didn't know what to expect, what people might experience with the Ascension 11. And, I always hear, first of all, I feel at peace.
Yeah.
And, you know, the most important thing in this kind of day and age is to, cause I talk to so many people who, you know, are still kind of wrapped up in the chaos and the fear and of all the changes happening. And if one could not disengage from it, but neutralize their emotions connected to what's going on, the change in the outer world, which is all orchestrated. It's all part of the great plan, you might say.
Sure.
And then they can watch it sort of like a movie and see everybody's part in this, what I call a great kabuki theater.
Exactly.
And that's what the Ascension 11, first of all, is doing for people. And it's not like you're going to, you know, be levitating, you know, and ascending to some higher realm or something physically, but transcending the emotional baggage that we are dealing with on planet Earth right now.
Yeah, and I would say my personal experience with this tool is that it's subtle, but it's about as subtle as the velvet sledgehammer. I mean, the first time I ran the program, and the first one that I chose was the one on prosperity and abundance. And I did the full 33 minutes. And at the end of that, I kind of felt like I was in the same sort of healing crisis that I put myself in the first time I used Infinity 8 and ran the full youth and rejuvenation program, because I was like, my head was spinning, and I'm like, whoa. It wasn't quite that bad. Trinfinity 8, the first time I used it, actually was like having morning sickness for a day. It put me back in the bed. Yeah. Because I did too much too fast. You know, and you had warned me.
People don't, you know, sort of we warn everybody, but they think, oh, it's so subtle. You know, I'll just do it for an hour. I'll put it on intense. And then they go, oh my God, that was like way too much. I feel like I need to lay down and take a long nap.
Right, exactly. So I knew that I was getting the codes, you know, because I could feel it. Actually, the rods were vibrating in my hands, and my hands were pulsating. So I knew I was getting it. I didn't know what I was getting, but I got to tell you that over the course of the next few weeks, my relationship to my finances changed.
No.
Not so much that it, you know, I didn't like win the lottery, but I was able to give over and allow that source, the connection to the flow of prosperity and abundance that comes vertically and not horizontally, I was able to allow that at a much deeper level. And then I would think about a financial desire, goal, or issue, and immediately, within a matter of minutes, it would resolve itself.
Well, it's, everybody first goes to financial, I am abundance.
Right.
Or I am creative abundance or so forth like that. And it's not just financial. It's abundance of everything in life. Feeling like you've got enough love, you've got enough companionship, you've got enough of everything that you need to feel good and to feel very in the zone. Mm-hmm. So, but I said everybody first goes to financial because that's the thing that's most on our minds. But personally, the one I like is I am eternal peace.
Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet, so I'm going to try that one because I've been doing 3 of them.
Three of them. And people say, is there a particular order of doing this? Should I do one after the other? Should I just do one until I feel like I've mastered it? And, everybody wants the formula, the recipe of how to do this. And I said, just follow your instincts, what you need. Maybe there's one up there on those 11 programs you don't feel connected to or need at all. And maybe you just want to do, I am one with divine source, or I am love. And that's what really you resonate with. So go with that. I also say, you don't need 33 minutes if you don't have 33 minutes. But, I was kind of led that 33 is kind of a wonderful number. And we had these wonderful artists who mastered musical tracks that were exactly 33 minutes and seamless, so it wouldn't loop in some way that would be very distracting to you.
Right.
Each of those, as is well known if you study about, has a particular, besides the fact that there's the codes coming through, they have a particular frequency to the music. So we've got, of course, the algorithm codes, and we've got the frequency of the music that has been designated right to that particular program. And I've heard people say, I don't even have to put the crystals in my head. I see the images start to move and hear the music, and I'm just drawn in and mesmerized and feel like I'm in some type of trance state, even though, I have to make people say trance state. I said, listen, there's no subliminal messages or anything in those images. So you're not trying to hypnotize you. You're hypnotizing yourself in essence. So
Yeah, exactly. And I've used them on some of my remote clients because I've got a lot of remote clients for the Trimfinity 8, and they get great results remotely from it. And so I've used this for some of them as well, and they're getting it too. So it works that way too.
I'm always curious about how it's working remotely on clients, and but you as well, we all know that time is and distance is meaningless,
and we're all one.
We're all one. Well, recently I had somebody that was just really couldn't get out of their mind that I have to feel the exact same things through each crystal, and is the port from the box doing the exact same thing. And, it's kind of funny because my guides pretty much said, they would advise you thinking outside the box. And they said with a note of loving humor, because, it's in the long term, that's kind of insignificant, because energy can be conveyed without but I know it's the crystals, but it doesn't necessarily always have to be plugged into things and so forth like that. It can transmit long distances. So, but some people it's hard for them to get out of the thinking like this A has to equal B, equals C or so forth like that. But, we're all learning.
Exactly. And it's a beautiful new addition. And I think, I credit Trimfinity with major life changes for myself. I just had my 71st birthday, and most people ask me, so why do you look so young for 71? And I go, well, I got the magic box in my office. And even though I don't use it even every week, but it's being run in my house almost every day with clients, and I'm getting the benefit of what they do on me. And so it's pretty freaking amazing.
Same thing. I mean, you look great, 71.
Thank you.
I forgot how old you were. And I get the same thing. I'm 66 and people really don't, but I said, and they say, oh, you must do it every day. And I say, no, I don't. I just do it as needed. And
right.
Now just being around it, it's accumulative after a while. And you just, feel that energy, whether, you have to have prescribed sessions or not. So.
Exactly. And, one of the things that I've learned over the years about Trinfinity is that it has a life of its own. It is really artificial intelligence because it gets to know the client, and it works with the client at progressively higher levels. Even though I don't change the level of intensity for myself or for the clients, it gets deeper and deeper and deeper and higher and higher and higher. And so I've got to assume, again, it's too soon to tell really with Ascension11, I've got to assume that that's all part of the same AI thing.
I mean, we're already, we heard a story already of somebody who said that they did one program. I can't remember what program it was, but after 33 minutes, it repeated it. And we know from testing that none of those programs repeat. There's no glitches or bugs there, and we just have to smile and say, well, I guess she needed it more than once.
Right, exactly. So I want to know the backstory. How did you know? I mean, because I know the story about Trinfinity 8, but how did you know about Ascension11? What did your guides tell you was going to come with that? And when did you start knowing that it was coming?
Well, I mean, when I started working on Trinfinity, I always knew that there was going to be a spiritual program down the line. I had no idea what it was going to be called, what would be a part of it, what was what the 11 programs were. And I thought, especially after Trinfinity, I thought, oh my God, this is enough to drive me crazy doing this one. Will this other one ever happen, or is that just, my wishful imagination or something like that? But I started to see after a while that, everything is about timing. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't the time yet. And I'm thinking like, wow, this really is the time now. We're all talking about Ascension. And, way before we started talking about, the Ascension process, then I was already starting to get that it would be called Ascension. But, I tacked on the 11 because we have 11 programs. And of course it's a master number too, So, but then I was led that, the interesting thing was the visual images as well, because as I said on the Ascension11.com website, I was very interested in the somatics of how they resonate, like Kimoto, did with water and what you're getting resonating on the water and the pictures and so forth. So there was a place in the UK and called Somatics, Cinescope. And I sent them a file. That I said, listen, it's just going to sound like white noise to you. You're not going to know what's on it. And I want to know if it will resonate images. I had no idea. They had no idea. They had never tried this before. And, and they didn't know what was on the file exactly. So they came back and they said to me, wow, what is that? It's bringing us this really 12-point, very complex sacred geometry. And the file I had sent them was something from the Trinfinity 8 was golden light to the pineal gland. And I knew immediately, oh my gosh, well, this will work. So I then sent them all 11 files, 11 programs with no names on them, totally mapped, that they wouldn't be able to differentiate or have any type of concept of what they might set based on the name of the program. And we were getting some just incredible images. And they were all so different. We just compiled that into an animated visual sequence. so that the codes that you're getting through the crystals, you're actually seeing the visual image on the screen of what that looks like in sacred geometry. And so that was kind of exciting. I don't know if anyone's done that per se, especially with information. They've done it with music, something that has a melodic sound to it and how it resonates on water, but not on pure information that sounds like white noise to the human ear.
Wow. I have had profound dreams about sacred geometry since I started using this.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. I mean, I have had them, I've had them, for the last 20 years, basically. So, because, my work's based on sacred geometry as well, but they've intensified since I've been running these programs on Ascension11.
Wow. So I'm wondering, because someone else said that they were having kind of dreams of the images too, and speaking to them. And, so that's actually very good. If it's speaking to them in their dream states, it's enforcing information, whether, they're healed, they're cleansed, they're creative mind. And I always thought one of the most important ones, which isn't placed prominently, is I am open to change.
Ooh,
and I thought,
that one yet.
Therapists should run that one before they talk therapy or anything else, because if we're not open to change, nothing can really happen. We're blocked.
That's a great idea. I'm going to do that one tonight.
Okay. And you'll have to report to me what you...
I will.
It can be very free. And it sets the stage for, just an opening to start to gradually occur. So, I'm excited, just like the Trinfinity 8, all those different programs, we didn't know what to expect, how people react to that. That's kind of what we're kind of starting to experience with the Ascension11. It's going to be quite interesting as people start to experiment. And moving into that, higher frequency. And, a lot of that's going on right now. And that's why people are having so much problems. I've heard lately about how many people are just feeling wiped out. Wiped out, or colds or flu. Of course, I know it's the time of year. We tend to get that stuff anyway, but people saying that, I just feel like I can't quite get through this, So we're all energetically changing right now.
Oh, for sure.
It would be a really good aid to facilitate that consciousness process.
Yeah, I know that for me and for a lot of the people in, I guess, my meta group, if you will, we're dealing with vertigo.
Ah.
And, when it first started, I went and had the crystals in my ears checked to make sure that, my crystals were all in alignment and there was nothing wrong, from an autological standpoint or from a neurological standpoint. And then found out that there was a virus going around that was causing this. But a virus, right? And every time people would, either do sessions with me or get on the Trinfinity, then they might a day later experience vertigo, maybe just for 10, 15 minutes. But it was enough. I got enough reported back to me that I believe that that's part of the body trying to acclimate itself to the higher vibrations and not being able to tell what way's up and what way's down.
And that's why a lot of people right now, whether they're on Ascension11 or not, are feeling this tiredness because, oftentimes we get sick or we feel very low in energy before we're ready to make a shift.
Yes.
And, I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. And that's really indicative of, you're getting ready to let go of the old and acclimating to the new.
Yes.
So, and like I said, also the backstory was that, there was the universe, dark to light, some dark forces were trying to stop it and slow down that process. They didn't want it out there. And, that just kind of aggravated me.
Yeah.
Made me more determined.
Of course, yeah.
Get it out, no matter what it was going to cost. And, I just kept the programmers ran into problem after problem after problem working with me on this. And I'm thinking but it's all about timing, and you just have to say it will happen when it's the right time. And
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm excited.
So I know that I was able to get my product, and where it's right here on my desk somewhere. Oh, yeah. I was able to get my product because I had the Trinfinity. Is it available for people who do not have a Trinfinity at this point?
Oh, sure. They can go right to the Ascension11.com website, because it's obviously a lot cheaper than the Trinfinity. They can buy it right online, or if they don't feel comfortable about that, they can either email us or call the office, and then they can facilitate that as well. So we have people buy it both different ways, and some people just want more of a spiritual thing, and maybe don't have any problems really health-wise. And the spiritual thing, it seems like when the spiritual thing everything else falls into place.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but like I said, the Trinfinity 8 seemed like it had to come first.
For sure that. And, I'm going to make the same offer to my viewers tonight that I have been making all along to people who have been following my work, because I give them a free session on Trinfinity 11 to try it. And I will allow anyone who contacts me, Jean at jeanadrienne.com, I will hook you up with a free experience with the Ascension 11, and you can pick your program, and I'll let you experience it. So, be sure to get in touch with me if this is something that you are interested in. And then if you are looking to actually purchase the product, then you would go to Ascension11, ASCENSION11.com. And if you want to find out more about the Trinfinity 8, that's TRINFINITY 8.com.
Either way, it's sort of, we anyone who has got questions on it, we try to hook them up. Either we give them a remote session, or we hook them up if there's somebody in their area that has it. Obviously, we have some listed on our website, but not everybody is, because they're not open to giving sessions.
Right.
These are just the people that are there who are offering it, and so.
Exactly.
I people to go out and try it. We have people when we go do shows. Sometimes they're lined up. They all want to. They're all drawn into it. And this last one we did at the Tesla Tech conference in Albuquerque, New Mexico, we debuted it there. I think that was the last one we did there. And I mean, everybody, even if they fall asleep on the Ascension 11, that's okay too.
Oh yeah.
They're still getting it.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. But people come back the next day and kind of give us feedback. Then we have a couple from that show, I believe, videos, testimonial videos on the website that they can also check out. So we'll find out. A year from now, I'll have to come back and probably give you the full scoop on what that's like.
Yes.
So, and I'm getting, I'm what people always ask me, what are you doing next?
And
I have another book in the making.
Well, that's interesting, because my guides were telling me that you were going to write a book about each of the 11 codes, those aspects of consciousness.
Well, if that's not the one that I was thinking about, maybe that's the one down the line somewhere.
Yeah, because, there's not a lot of information in the about, and they said that you've got that.
That really is all I know.
Well, they said you've got it, and you're going to get it out, and so, yeah, that should be interesting.
Maybe I'll be getting it from a lot of our owners who are sharing what they've got, and that's how I got a lot of the Trinfinity 8 stuff, what's working and what they were experiencing, and then it made, it's sort of like when we did appetite suppression on Trinfinity 8, your first thought was, okay, it's food, your food intake. Mm-mm. And then we were finding that, no, it meant all kinds of appetites, whether it be, smoking, whether it be, drugs, whether it be too much sex, whether it be any of these things, and your appetite suppression. So it could be experience in many, many different ways. So to think outside the box, literally and figuratively, about what could be possible. I'm starting to believe anything, really can be possible if you just, get outside the box.
Oh, absolutely. And, one of the things on Trimfinity that anytime that I'm feeling a little bit low on inspiration or my connection to spirit, I will run the Stimulate Collagen and Elastin program for 9 minutes. And then when I get off of it and go meditate, I will get a huge download from spirit.
Wow.
Inevitably. And that's, I'm not the only one of people who have, done that. I mean, I would set up a program for them about, facial rejuvenation or whatever. And they've said, boy, when it got to that one that said stimulate collagen and elastin, my guides came in and they were telling me this and they were telling me that. And I'm like, yeah.
Well, I think the Ascension11 is also good for dream incubation.
Mm-hmm.
And, once you're working on particular programs to open information coming through in the dream state as well. And, I just got back from doing a group in Egypt, my 5th one. And, I don't take more than 16 people because otherwise it's just too much. And, it's more of an intimate experience. And I told them, I said, you're not going to really assimilate this and experience it fully till after you get home.
Yeah.
And now the reporting, these incredible dreams that are coming, insights, maybe past life recall and so forth. And I said, that can continue to happen for months. Mm-hmm. We think it's got to happen right away. Someone said, oh, well, I'm not getting any information while I'm there. Maybe somewhere. And I said, just wait.
Exactly.
It'll come. Everything is about timing. I have this thing that I tell my friend, because I like to do long distance biking. And she's like 10 years younger than me, and she's much faster. I'm faster than the average little beach ride. Yeah. But, I said, well, listen, I have nothing to prove anymore. And I said, life is about pacing, not racing.
Yeah.
And you'll still get there, and you might get there in better condition if you take your time, but, persevere and hold it. And that's kind of what I feel about Ascension11. Mm-hmm. I hung in there, even though it was taking plenty of time and to do it. But, it's sort of like, if you give me a job, I will see it through. That's one thing at least I could say, in school or anything else, if they wanted to assign a leader to get something done, they just said, give it to Kathy. She'll get it done. So, hopefully I did my job, for my job that was, whatever my mission here has been about it. This is part of it. But the new book will be more about my other cosmic experiences, my remote viewing experiences, my contact with other dimensional beings experiences, and so it won't mention Trinfinity 8 at all. Maybe in the footnote or something like that. But I feel expanded. A lot of my experiences are becoming even more expanded, and it'll be nice to really kind of talk about that for a change.
Cool. I'm looking forward. Very good. So I'll have you back when your book comes out.
Okay. If all goes right, I think I could probably do it next year. So,
okay. Very good.
So, and after that, I don't know. I have nothing on the horizon. So we'll wait and see what the universe has in store for me.
For sure.
Probably back to Egypt again. I feel a real strong calling there, and I've had many things awakened there, where it gets to the point now where when I work with a standard Egyptologist who has come along to my way of some of my understanding, where now he goes, I'm not buying that official story anymore.
Good.
And we've gotten a really nice sync together where I'm giving the more esoteric metaphysics stuff. I've been at some of these sites, and it's very clear the memories coming back of, of my past life involvements or something in some of these places. And, where to look. And of course, you might have read my thing on the water tunnels underneath the pyramids, which Nexus magazine and Ancient Origins magazine also picked up. And of course, when I just got back from what I probably should hesitate to tell this, but I actually tunneled underneath the Sphinx.
Oh, cool.
Physically.
I love it.
But it was fun. So I couldn't get any further than that.
Yeah.
So, but I know that there's 3 tunnels there, and one of them leads directly into the pyramid. One leads into the head, and the other one is kind of bifurcated. So, so I guess they'll find that eventually in time.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure. I am sure. Well, Kathy, this has been great. Thank you so much. And so, listeners, again, viewers, Trinfinity8.com, Ascension11.com. And if you want to try this, no risk, contact me, Jean, at jeanadrienne.com, and we'll figure out what program you would like, and I'm happy to let you experience it for yourself remotely. So thank you again, Kathy. This has been great.
Oh, thank you.
All right. And viewers, I'm going to have another really super show for you next week. So join me then. And until then, remember, people who take responsibility for their lives create the reality they desire. Much love.